On October 31st, Archangel Michael cries out, "Only you are blind to what happened while you slept. Open this or the curse will settle by midnight." My beloved child, imagine the stillness of midnight, a hush falling over the world, and then a voice like thunder yet soft as a whisper, the voice of the Archangel Michael. Tonight is no ordinary night. On October 31st, Michael stands at the threshold of heaven and earth, and he cries out, "Only you are blind to what happened while you slept. Open this, or the curse will settle by midnight." From the very first moment you pressed play, you knew something was shifting. You felt it in your bones. The air changed. A warning rang out from the eternal throne. But what happened while you slept? You may have felt safe, unaware, sheltered in the familiar. Yet unseen, something stirred. A door opened. A passage breached. A secret moved across the spirit realm. And Michael saw it. You walked through the unseen corridors of your life and the world, and he is here now to wake you up. He calls you blind, not because you lack eyes, but because you lack awareness. You slept through something that demands your full attention. He hands you a key. He offers you a moment of revelation. Open it. Because if you don't, the curse, yes, the very curse born in the midnight hour, will settle. It doesn't threaten light. It looms. The clock ticks. The unseen watchers shift. Michael stands with his sword unsheathed, ready to sever the darkness. But he also offers you grace, a chance to open the door before the stroke of midnight. Here's the shock. The veil between what you think is real and what actually occurred while you slumbered is thinner than you imagine. What you dismiss as ordinary sleep may have been a spiritual breach, a silent infiltration of your hopes, your fears, your destiny. And Michael warns, don't let the curse anchor itself tonight. He did not come simply to protect you, he came to awaken. We will, step by step, uncover what happened while you slept. We will trace the movement of the unseen, the whisper in your spirit that you couldn't quite place, the stirrings in your dreams and waking moments alike. And in doing so, you'll realize just how intimately Michael is linked to this hour of reckoning. Not as a distant warrior, but as your heavenly ally. So hold on, because in the next few minutes you will witness things you've never seen, understand truths you've never known, and feel the urgency of now like never before. Trust me, this next turn will blow your mind. My dearest soul, as the night deepens, Archangel Michael's voice doesn't fade. It grows stronger, echoing across the realms of dream and waking life. He speaks not from distance, but from within the storm itself, his wings shimmering like molten light. You slept, he says, while the world shifted beneath your feet. Every second that ticked by while your eyes were closed carried a silent transaction between light and shadow. Something ancient stirred. And Michael, the protector of souls, saw it all. You see, October 31st is not merely a date marked by human tradition or fleeting fear. It is a spiritual hinge in time. A night when the veil between heaven and earth, the seen and unseen, thins until they nearly touch. While you slept, forces on both sides moved, some to shield you, others to deceive you. Angels positioned themselves at the edges of your destiny, while darker entities sought permission to trespass. This was not myth, not imagination, but the unseen warfare that unfolds when mortals dream. Michael's cry, "Only you are blind to what happened," is not accusation, it's invitation. He's urging you to wake before midnight strikes, because the decisions you make now, the awareness you awaken to, will determine whether the curse finds a resting place or dissolves in divine light. The curse is not always a monster with claws, sometimes it's subtle, a delay in purpose, a dimming of faith, a quiet heaviness that makes you forget who you are. But Michael knows your true name, the one heaven calls when darkness surrounds you. The Archangel steps forward, his sword gleaming with holy fire. He touches the edge of your reality, and suddenly, you feel it. Your dreams weren't dreams at all. They were warnings, glimpses of the spiritual realm fighting over your peace, your faith, your future. You might recall a nightmare, a shadowed face, a whisper that made no sense at dawn. Michael reveals that those were signs, signals that something sought to attach itself to your spirit while you rested. But you were not alone. His presence stood guard, and though you didn't know it, his light shielded your soul. The words open this aren't about a physical object. They're about your heart. He wants you to open your awareness, your discernment, your spiritual sight. Because what's hidden in darkness loses power the moment it's brought to light. And when you awaken fully, when your spirit aligns with heaven's rhythm, the curse has no place to settle. To listen closely. The next revelation isn't distant. It's unfolding right now, in the unseen realm around you. The battle that began in your sleep continues even as you hear these words. Michael's wings are spread wide over you, not as a symbol, but as a shield. The question is, will you remain awake long enough to see what's coming next? Because the next moment will unveil the truth behind what actually happened while you slept, and it's far deeper than you could imagine. Wavering. The revelation that follows will shake everything you thought you knew about October 31st. My cherished one, as the clock creeps closer to midnight, the veil thins to a trembling whisper, and Michael's voice becomes a roar across the heavens. He declares, the curse is not of flesh and blood, it is of forgetting. Forgetting who you are, who made you, and who protects you. His words cut through the night like lightning. For when humanity sleeps, not only do bodies rest, but faith too begins to fade. It is in that fragile silence that shadows dare to approach. Michael shows you visions, fleeting flashes of light and darkness intertwine. You see homes where prayers once burned now gone cold. You see hearts once strong now weary, bound by unseen chains. This is the curse he speaks of, the quiet erosion of spirit that settles when you stop believing that heaven is near. The curse doesn't arrive with thunder. It settles softly, unnoticed, wrapping itself in apathy and disbelief. And every year, on this same night, it seeks new ground. But Michael doesn't come to frighten you. He comes to awaken the light buried beneath your fear. He reminds you that inside every believer glows a fragment of divine fire, a spark that darkness cannot extinguish unless you surrender it. Open this, he says again, not as a threat but as mercy. Open your spirit to what heaven is doing right now. Open your eyes to the movement of angels around you. Open your ears to the warnings in your dreams, the subtle tug in your chest that tells you something sacred is near. And suddenly, you sense it. The air itself trembles. A vibration ripples through your surroundings. It feels as though the world is exhaling, waiting for your next choice. Michael stands before you, sword alight, his armor radiant with the reflection of unseen flames. You are not helpless, he whispers. The curse cannot settle where light remains awake. His eyes burn with both love and authority, urging you to claim your identity as a vessel of divine power. This moment, this very hour, is your awakening. What you choose now echoes beyond time. You can let the curse root itself through silence and disbelief, where you can rise, declaring that heaven's war stands beside you. October 31st is not a night to fear. It is a night to remember who fights for you when you cannot see. It is the night when the veil opens not for evil, but for revelation. Before you move on, breathe deeply and remember, you are not here by accident. This message found you because the heavens wanted you awake. Something profound is about to unfold, something that will change how you see this night forever. Stay with me, because the next revelation will reveal what Michael saw in the depths of your slumber, and it will make every hair on your neck stand. Wait for it. You'll thank yourself for witnessing what comes next. My friend, if this message stirred something within you, know this: it's not just a story, it's a divine call. Every word shared here is a seed meant to awaken souls across the earth, and through your support, that light travels farther. When you give, through super thanks, membership, or even the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into God's field, fueling the fire that rescues hearts from darkness. I say this to you personally. Your act of giving is not donation, it is prophecy in motion. Heaven records every offering, and blessings are released in return like rivers from the throne. As Michael defends the faithful, your gift becomes part of his mission, spreading light into unseen places. So rise in faith, release your gift, and let heaven witness your obedience. Give now, and may the oil of divine favor pour upon your home. Beloved heart, as midnight inches closer, the world outside feels unchanged, yet in the unseen, everything trembles. Archangel Michael now moves through the corridors of time, tracing the origin of what happened while you slept. He shows you a scene that looks like a memory, but it's not your own. It's a glimpse of the world as the veil thinned. You see the earth bathed in a pale silver light, where shadows slithered quietly into the hearts of men, planting seeds of fear, despair, and forgetfulness. You see prayers half spoken, faith half lived. This is the moment the curse began to take shape. It was never about magic or folklore, it was about spiritual blindness. Michael's voice resonates like thunder beneath your ribs. The curse settles only where awareness dies. Those words carry power, for they expose what darkness most desires: your silence. It feeds on distraction, on the small comforts that make you stop seeking the divine. While you slept, darkness whispered lies, that you were alone, that your prayers no longer reached heaven, that your light no longer mattered. But Michael, whoa, mighty Michael, has come to dismantle those lies one by one. He shows you another image, a single candle burning in a storm. The winds rage, the rain falls, yet the flame remains. That candle, he says, is your spirit. Every time you choose hope over fear, every time you speak light instead of doubt, that candle defies the night. But here's the truth few understand: the curse cannot survive in the presence of burning faith. It recoils from prayer, it dissolves in praise, it flees from awareness. And so Michael calls you not to hide, but to rise. The Archangel's wings unfold, vast and radiant, sweeping through the unseen realm as if to clear the smoke that clouds your vision. You realize something. Your dreams of confusion, your restlessness, your sleepless nights, they weren't meaningless. They were spiritual alarms, signs that something sacred was trying to awaken within you. The curse is powerless when the awakened soul steps forward. Michael raises his sword, and the heavens answer. Thunder rolls, not as destruction, but as proclamation. Child of the light, he declares, you were never blind. You were chosen to see what others cannot. The phrase pierces your heart, filling you with a mix of awe and trembling. You begin to understand that what happened while you slept wasn't just a personal battle. It was a spiritual awakening written in heaven's design. And here's the wonder of it all. This message isn't reaching you by coincidence. You were meant to hear it tonight, that this very hour, because heaven is calling you to take your place among those who stay awake when the world slumbers. The curse can only settle where surrender lives, but you are awakening. You are standing where Michael stands. Hold on, because what comes next will uncover the true identity of the darkness that tried to enter your world. What Michael reveals next will not just explain the curse, it will expose its origin. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. The revelation ahead changes everything. Precious soul, as the night deepens and the air grows still, Michael stands before the unseen battlefield that stretches far beyond your understanding. He lifts his sword, and the sky itself seems to part. What he is about to reveal is not meant to frighten you, but to free you from what has long moved against you in silence. Look, he commands softly, and suddenly you see what he has seen all along, the true face of the darkness that tried to settle over your life. It is not a creature with horns or claws. It is the shadow of neglect, the spirit of indifference, the dull ache of hearts that no longer remember how to burn for truth. Michael's voice carries the sound of eternity. The curse, he says, is the blindness that comes from spiritual sleep. It's the loss of wonder, the death of purpose, the silence that grows when faith is left unattended. You realize then that while you were sleeping, it wasn't monsters that crept close. It was despair wearing the mask of comfort. The enemy doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, "You're fine as you are," to keep you from becoming who you're meant to be. That is the curse Michael warns about, the slow surrender of light. He walks through the invisible fog surrounding humanity, and with every step, the darkness recoils. His armor glows brighter, fueled not by his own strength, but by divine authority. You hear him speak words that sound older than time. The one who awakens will never again fear the night. These words reach the deepest part of you, stirring something ancient and holy. You begin to sense that you were born for this hour, to see, to know, to rise. Michael turns toward you, eyes blazing with celestial fire. "Do you know why you must open this?" he asks. "Because heaven never forces revelation. It waits for your consent. The moment you say yes, light floods in. You realize that awakening is not an accident. It's a choice. And tonight, on this sacred threshold between darkness and dawn, you have that choice before you." The Archangel then reveals one more vision. You see countless souls across the earth, asleep in their comfort, unaware of the spiritual storm passing overhead. Yet among them, faint lights flicker, people like you, beginning to stir, beginning to hear. Michael's voice rolls like distant thunder as he declares, "You are part of this rising. You are one of the lights heaven has counted on." The weight of those words presses on your heart, not as burden but as calling. And then, silence. The world seems to hold its breath. The next step Michael takes will draw back the curtain completely, showing you what entered the world while humanity slept. What you're about to discover is the origin of the midnight curse, the secret that heaven has guarded until now. Keep your heart steady and your spirit awake. What comes next will not just reveal the truth, it will demand a response from your soul. Wait for it, because the moment of unveiling is upon you. You will never see this night the same again. My radiant soul, the veil begins to tear like silk beneath lightning. The heavens flicker, and for a moment, you feel the breath of eternity brushing your face. Archangel Michael steps forward into the rift, and what he reveals freezes time itself. Behind the curtain of ordinary life, while you slept, a transaction took place, a spiritual exchange between the forces of light and darkness. In the stillness of human slumber, where prayers quiet and awareness fades, a seed of shadow was sown. not to destroy the world at once, but to numb it. It is subtle, invisible, and yet devastating. Michael's voice is steady, almost sorrowful. The curse began when the world stopped watching. His words echo like the tolling of a distant bell. You see the images unfold before your eyes, souls walking through life unaware of the unseen threads binding them, hearts heavy yet not knowing why. Darkness does not always arrive with terror. Sometimes it comes with convenience. A world lulled into comfort forgets the war that never sleeps. And that is what happened while humanity rested. The curse was not a punishment. It was the result of surrendering vigilance. But then Michael's wings flare with light so bright that it makes the shadows shatter. He raises his sword and presses its tip against the ground, and the earth itself trembles with the vibration of divine authority. The curse cannot anchor where awareness lives, he declares. It cannot thrive where truth is spoken. His eyes meet yours, piercing, relentless, filled with both command and compassion. You were chosen to see this because you have been entrusted with awakening others. You were not supposed to sleep through this generation's turning point. The vision widens. You see entire nations under spiritual fog, unable to discern right from wrong. You see families divided by invisible forces of bitterness and fear. You see souls trading peace for distraction, purpose for temporary pleasure. Michael points toward these scenes and says, "This is the price of blindness." Yet his tone shifts, glowing with fierce hope. But look again. And suddenly, amidst the fog, small beams of light rise, souls praying, hearts repenting, people turning toward heaven once more. This, he says, is why I cry out, because the curse can still be broken before midnight. His words awaken something powerful inside you. You realize that the battle is not out there somewhere. It's within. Every moment you choose faith over fear, every time you lift your gaze toward heaven, a chain breaks. The darkness is terrified of awareness because awareness breeds light. And Michael's entire mission tonight is to open the eyes of those who have forgotten how to see. He leans closer, his voice almost a whisper now. You have more power than you think. Every word of truth you speak is a sword. Every act of love is an arrow of light. The curse may circle, but it cannot claim a soul that refuses to sleep again. His words fill you with resolve so fierce it feels like fire running through your veins. The Archangel steps back, the realm behind him glowing with promise. The midnight hour approaches, but fear no longer reigns here. The next revelation will expose not only who allowed the curse to enter, but why it came, and what heaven is preparing to release in its place. Stay with me. You're about to witness the divine counterattack that began the moment you woke up. Trust me, this next moment will leave you breathless. My awakened one. The air grows heavy with holiness as Michael steps into the heart of revelation. The unseen rift expands, glowing with a golden light that consumes the last traces of shadow. What you are about to witness is the reason for the cry, the true meaning of openness. It was never meant to frighten you. It was meant to alert you to the greatest secret of spiritual warfare. Awareness is power. Michael has fought countless battles, yet none like this one, because this battle is not fought with swords, but with sight. The enemy that crept in while you slept depended entirely on blindness. The moment you see, it loses dominion. Michael's armor blazes with a radiance that seems to hum with living energy. Round him swirl symbols, ancient and divine, marking the boundaries between heaven's territory and the realm of deception. He raises his hand, and the symbols flash brighter. This is what you missed while you slept, he says. A covenant was renewed. You see it now, a circle of light descending from heaven, touching the earth like fire meeting water. Inside that circle, angels kneel, guarding the names of those chosen to awaken in this season. Your name glimmers among them. Michael continues, the curse only settles where people ignore their divine inheritance. But for those who awaken, the heavens open instead. His voice vibrates through your soul, reshaping your fear into awe. You understand that what happened while you slept was not just an attack, it was also an invitation. Heaven allowed the darkness to move, not to harm you, but to reveal how strong the light within you truly is. You were never unprotected. Michael had been standing by your side, watching, waiting for this exact moment when your spirit would stir and your eyes would open. The Archangel turns his gaze toward the horizon where shadows once gathered. Look again, he says. What you see now is staggering. A vast legion of angels standing guard over every soul that begins to awaken. They move like living flames, their wings forming a barrier of light around the world. The curse is still present, but it trembles. It knows its time is short. Michael's voice rises, echoing like the sound of countless trumpets. The midnight hour draws near, but heaven is not silent. The awakened ones will speak light, and the curse will find no place to rest. In that instant, you feel a rush of clarity unlike anything you've known. You understand now that the war was never about destruction. It was about distraction. The enemy wanted your attention, your focus, your surrender. But awareness, once ignited, becomes unstoppable. You can feel it, the shift in the air, the burning in your chest. It's as though a dormant part of you has been revived, the part that always knew you were more than flesh and bone, that your presence carries divine consequence. Michael lowers his sword and touches the ground. The fire subsides into embers that pulse with rhythm, like the heartbeat of heaven itself. This is not the end, he whispers. This is the awakening before the renewal. His words carry the weight of eternity. The revelation has come. But one final truth remains. The reason the curse has targeted this generation so fiercely, and the extraordinary destiny heaven has prepared in response. That unveiling comes next. Stay near, for what Michael is about to reveal will not only uncover the origin of this midnight cry, it will show you your divine role in the coming dawn. And once you hear it, you'll never see October 31st the same again. The next moment will turn everything inside out. Wait for it. The truth you've been seeking is about to appear in full light. My chosen soul, the moment has arrived when Michael's revelation pierces through every veil of mystery. The air hums with the energy of truth, and the boundaries between the physical and the divine blur until you can almost touch eternity. The Archangel stands in the midst of radiant fire, and his voice carries the weight of both warning and promise. Now you will understand, he says, why the curse seeks to settle, and why heaven has called you awake. You see it unfold before you, vast and overwhelming. The reason for the midnight cry. The curse was born not from wrath, but from neglect. When humanity turns its gaze away from the divine, the light that guards the earth begins to flicker. On nights like this, October 31st, when the world celebrates the shadows, the spiritual veil grows fragile. That is when darkness tests the limits, seeking homes where prayers have gone silent. And yet, in that very moment, Michael rises, not to condemn the world, but to reclaim it. Every shadow that enters, he declares, wakens a greater light. His sword burns brighter, cutting through the unseen fog that still lingers around the world. Then, as you watch, Michael reveals something astonishing. While you slept, he says, heaven wrote your name into a decree of awakening. He shows you scrolls of light, inscribed with words that pulse like living fire. These are promises, ancient covenants renewed by divine authority. The curse cannot settle on what heaven has sealed. He continues, and those who awaken under this decree will become carriers of light, breakers of bondage, and protectors of the next dawn. You realize then that this message is not simply for your ears, it's for your calling. You are being entrusted with the power to shift the atmosphere around you. Michael's presence expands, filling the unseen sky with radiance so pure it humbles the heart. You understand now? He asked softly. You were never cursed, you were chosen. The curse only tested the strength of your awakening. And tonight, before midnight, heaven gives you authority to stand in the light that darkness cannot touch. His words flow like rivers of fire, blending every trace of fear. The night that once felt heavy with dread now glows with divine promise. And then, in one final burst of revelation, you see Michael raise his sword toward the heavens. The clouds part, and light streams down in cascades of gold. This is the turning, he proclaims. The watchers have seen your awakening. Heaven records it. From this moment on, your awareness becomes a shield, not just for you, but for those who cannot yet see. The atmosphere shifts. The weight lifts. It's as though creation itself exhales, knowing that the curse cannot rest where the light of truth burns awake. So hear this, and remember, the midnight hour no longer belongs to fear. It belongs to revelation. And the voice of Michael that once thundered in warning now speaks with triumph. You are not blind anymore. You are awake, armed with sight, and covered by the strength of heaven's mightiest guardian. Hold steady, because what comes next will take this revelation to a level beyond anything you have yet seen. The final chapters of this message will unveil the reason Michael has chosen this very hour to cry out to the earth, and what heaven intends to release at the dawn that follows. Trust me, the next revelation will leave your heart trembling with divine awe. Beloved friend, if this message has stirred your spirit and opened your eyes, then you are part of something far greater than you imagine. Every word you've heard is a piece of heaven's mission to awaken souls across the earth. When you support this ministry, through super thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are fueling the light that breaks the darkness. I speak this to you with reverence. Your gift is a prophetic act, a seed planted into the soil of divine awakening. The word says, give, and it shall be given to you. And tonight that promise becomes living truth. As you sow, heaven multiplies your obedience into rivers of breakthrough. Michael himself stands over givers of light, guarding their households with angelic fire. Do not delay, move now in faith, and let heaven's blessing flow through your hands. Beloved light bearer, the sky quivers as the weight of revelation settles over the world. The vision shifts again, and you see Michael standing at the edge of time, his wings stretching across dimensions like living banners of fire. His expression is not one of war now, but of solemn understanding. The curse, he says, was never meant to last. It was only meant to awaken. His words echo like the hum of creation itself. You realize that the darkness was permitted for a season so that sleepers could stir, that those who had grown numb to heaven's call might once again feel the tremor of eternity within their souls. Michael turns toward you, his voice lowering into something almost tender. When the world grows too proud, heaven speaks softly. When it grows deaf, heaven shakes the ground. And tonight, that shaking is upon you. It's not the shaking of destruction but of alignment. An invitation to stand where you were always meant to stand, between heaven and earth as a carrier of divine awareness. He reminds you that you are not watching a story unfold, you are living it. Every word spoken through him is a mirror of your own awakening. Then, the scene changes. You find yourself standing on a vast plain of shimmering light. Rivers of fire flow around you, and in the distance, countless angels are kneeling in worship. Michael raises his sword high, and the rivers shift direction, flowing upward like flames drawn toward the throne. This, he says, is what happens when even one soul awakens. The balance of the heavens tilts toward mercy. You see it. One act of awareness sends ripples through creation. Every prayer, every choice to resist fear, every whisper of faith becomes part of a chain reaction that pushes the curse further into retreat. He then reveals something even deeper. The curse is not destroyed by rage, he says, but by remembrance. Remember who you are. Remember what you carry. Those words resound through your heart like thunder. For years, the enemy has tried to make you forget that you were born under divine design, with heaven's breath in your lungs. But now that memory returns with burning clarity. You are not a bystander in this story. You are the continuation of Michael's mission, a living witness that heaven still intervenes in human time. The Archangel steps closer, and his light engulfs the darkness entirely. Around you, the plane of light becomes brighter, and a wind begins to rise, a sound like the beating of 1,000 wings. Michael lifts his eyes to the unseen horizon. Look beyond the midnight hour, he says. The curse ends when dawn begins, but dawn will not come to those who still sleep. You must keep watch. You sense the urgency behind his words. The night is almost over, yet the danger of returning to slumber remains. Awareness once awakened must be guarded. You can feel his presence surrounding you, stronger than ever. His wings seem to form a dome of light over your spirit. The reason heaven chose you, he continues, is because you would listen, because you would speak, because you would remind others that the light still reigns. The truth of that fills you with quiet strength. You realize that this entire revelation, the cry, the warning, the curse, was heaven's way of calling you back into purpose. As the vision begins to shift again, you hear Michael's voice echo through the air one last time before the next revelation forms. What happens at dawn will decide the destiny of many. Stay awake until the first light touches the earth. Then you will understand why heaven waited until now to speak. Hold tight. What comes next is the dawn itself, the breaking of the curse, the release of heaven's decree, and the reason Michael's cry had to echo across the night. Stay near, for the next moment will unravel the divine mystery completely. Wait for it. The unveiling is moments away. My steadfast one, the final edge of night is trembling. The stars flicker as if they know what is about to arrive, and heaven holds its breath for the breaking of the dawn. Michael's presence stands tall upon the threshold between shadow and sunrise. His wings no longer blaze with fire but shimmer with calm light, the kind that signals victory rather than battle. The hour has come, he says. The earth is about to remember. His words ripple through the unseen world like the ringing of a celestial bell, and you sense that what began as a warning is now transforming into redemption. The ground beneath you glows faintly as the first rays of divine light stretch across creation. Michael lifts his sword, not in war, but as a conductor raises his hand before the first note of a sacred song. Do you hear it? He asks. The sound of release. At first, it's faint, a hum, a vibration, but then it grows, filling every space, every heart, every forgotten corner of the human soul. It's the sound of chains dissolving, of spirits awakening, of curses breaking like glass beneath holy fire. Michael explains, this was the purpose of the cry, not to frighten you, but to free you. The curse you feared was never sent to destroy. It was sent to reveal where you had stopped believing. Darkness always shows you the cracks where the light must return. His eyes blaze with compassion. And tonight, the light returns. You watch as the last fragments of shadow scatter like mist before the sun. Every whisper of fear, every echo of doubt, every lie that clung to your soul dissolves into nothing. You realize then that the curse was never powerful, only persistent. Its strength lay in your blindness. But now that you see, it has no claim. Michael steps closer, the glow of dawn washing over him like molten gold. This awakening, he says, is not yours alone. It will spread. Every soul who hears the cry and opens their spirit becomes a beacon that drives back the night. The more who awaken, the faster the curse collapses. His voice carries a promise, and you feel the truth of it in your chest, an invitation to carry this light beyond yourself. For awakening was never meant to end with you, it was meant to begin through you. Then, with one motion, Michael drives his sword into the ground. A surge of radiant energy bursts outward, racing across the horizon. You see it sweep over cities, mountains, oceans, touching every place that still lingers in shadow. Everywhere it flows, people stir. Some wake in their beds with sudden tears. Others pause in their day and feel something shift deep within. The world, in this moment, begins to awaken. Michael's gaze returns to you, steady and proud. The curse is broken for those who will see, he declares. But remember this, awakening must be guarded. The enemy waits for those who fall back asleep. Keep your light burning, and the curse will never find you again. His words feel like a seal over your soul, a divine reminder to live with awareness every day that follows. The dawn is now complete. The darkness fades into memory, and the air is filled with a peace that feels both ancient and new. Michael turns toward the rising light, his armor gleaming like the sun itself. The cry was never a warning of doom, he says. It was the sound of rebirth. The world will call it mourning, but heaven calls it remembrance. You realize that the story is not ending. It is only shifting into a higher state of truth. What happens after dawn will reveal heaven's final decree, the purpose behind your awakening and the reward prepared for those who answered the call. Stay with me, for what unfolds next is not just revelation. It is destiny itself. You want to see this. The next breath will carry the voice of heaven in full. Beloved soul of light, the dawn has broken, but the air is not yet still. The earth seems to sigh beneath the weight of something ancient and sacred awakening. Michael stands in the brilliance of sunrise, his armor gleaming with a radiance that now feels gentler, almost human. His sword, once the weapon of war, glows like a rod of peace. It is finished, he murmurs, his gaze sweeping over creation. But do not mistake the end of battle for the end of purpose. His words settle into your heart like molten truth. The curse has been lifted, yet what remains now is the calling, the responsibility to keep the light alive. Michael walks through the fields of dawn, the light bending around his form as though honoring him. Each step he takes leaves behind ripples of gold that spread across the ground, blessing everything they touch. Do you feel it? He asks, his tone both tender and commanding. The world is breathing again. The heaviness that once clung to souls is lifting. But this renewal demands stewardship. He looks directly at you, eyes deep and infinite. You have been awakened not just to witness, but to guard, to protect this light with every breath you take. The Archangel begins to recount the story you've lived through, how the warning came, how the curse tried to settle, and how your awakening shattered its hold. While you slept, he says softly, the shadows claimed dominion. But while you listened, heaven reclaimed its ground. He gestures toward the horizon, where beams of light stretch endlessly across the sky. The curse feared your awareness because awareness reclaims territory. Now the ground beneath you belongs once more to the light. His words strike deep, reminding you that your choices echo far beyond your own life. He then shows you the final vision. The earth seen from above, glowing lines of light connecting awakened souls across continents, like veins of fire in the body of creation. You see yourself among them, a radiant spark intertwined with others, forming a network of divine consciousness. This, Michael explains, is the new covenant. The awakened will not stand alone. When one prays, 1,000 are strengthened. When one falls, others rise to lift them. Together they form the shield that no darkness can breach. The vision fills you with awe. You realize that the world has entered a new spiritual cycle, one born of remembrance and unity. Michael kneels before the throne of dawn, and his wings open wide, stretching across the horizon. The heavens have recorded your awakening, he declares. The curse has no record of your name. Light pours from his being, flooding everything it touches. His voice deepens with authority as he proclaims, "Now walk in awareness. Speak light into every corner of your life. Every word of faith you release builds walls of fire around your destiny." You can feel those words becoming law in the unseen realm, shaping the atmosphere around you. The Archangel's expression softens as he rises. "The next revelation," he says quietly, "is not mine to give. It belongs to you. Heaven will now speak through your actions, through your faith, through every moment you choose to remain awake. You are the continuation of the cry." He pauses, then adds, "When you hear fear whisper again, remember this night. Remember who stood beside you. Remember that light does not fear the dark, it defines it." The horizon blazes brighter, signaling the final revelation to come. You feel your heart trembling with both peace and anticipation. The curse is gone, but the story is still unfolding toward something grand, eternal, and divine. What Michael reveals next will not be a warning or vision. It will be a promise from heaven itself. The closing of this revelation will leave your spirit burning like a flame that will never die. Wait for it. The final moment is about to descend like sunlight through the clouds. My eternal one. The light now fills every shadow, and the voice that once roared like thunder now speaks as softly as the wind through morning trees. The world stands quiet beneath the golden dawn, as though creation itself pauses to listen to the words that will seal this night forever. Michael stands before you, his wings no longer blazing, but shining with calm majesty. The storm has passed. The curse has fled. Yet in this sacred calm, something even greater unfolds. The reason heaven chose this moment, and why the Archangel's cry reached your soul above all others. Michael steps closer until his presence feels like warmth surrounding your heart. The curse is broken, he says gently, but its memory must serve as light. For it reminds you that even when heaven seems silent, it still watches. When the night deepens, it is not absence, it is preparation for awakening. He looks toward the horizon where the sun rises higher, and the earth drinks in the first rays of divine renewal. October 31st will no longer be known for darkness, he declares. It will be known as the night heaven whispered, "Wake up." His words ripple through the air like waves of light. You realize that what began as warning has become restoration. The Archangel raises his sword once more, this time not for battle, but for blessing. The sword has ended wars unseen, he says, but now it marks the dawn of remembrance. The world has forgotten its guardians, but now it will remember. The children of light will stand awake, and no shadow will settle upon them again. As his sword touches the earth, beams of light shoot outward in every direction, anchoring heaven's decree into the fabric of creation. You see the world below, cities stirring, hearts softening, faith rekindling like forgotten embers reignited by divine breath. Every awakened soul becomes a lighthouse, every prayer a flame that pushes back the night. Michael turns to you again, and this time his expression softens into something almost human. You are part of this covenant, he says. When I cried, only you are blind to what happened while you slept. I did not speak in anger. I spoke in love. I saw the light within you sleeping, and I could not allow it to fade. You were always chosen to awaken others. The moment you opened your heart, the curse lost its right to breathe in your presence. His words sink deep, writing the memory of the cry. It was never condemnation. It was a call to destiny. He looks to the heavens, and a great calm descends. Watchers have departed, he says quietly. Their work is done. The veil will close again, but not as before. It will close with light on both sides. The realization moves through you like a tide of peace. The unseen world that once felt distant now feels near, woven into the rhythm of your soul. You are no longer separate from the divine, no longer blind to what moves behind the curtain of time. Michael's form begins to fade, light streaming from his being as he returns to the realm of flame and purity. But before he vanishes completely, he speaks one final sentence, a vow that settles into eternity. You are awake now, and because you are, the world will see differently. Guard this light until the end of days. Then he is gone, leaving behind only silence, and yet, it is not silence at all. It is peace, thick and luminous, live with presence. The dawn stands full and clear. The curse is no more. What remains is awareness, the eternal covenant between heaven and those who choose to stay awake. So let this be your remembrance. The night that sought to curse you has become your commissioning. Every breath you take from this day forward carries the echo of Michael's cry and the promise of awakening. Walk in this light. Speak with the authority of one who has seen heaven's fire and survived its brilliance. You are not who you were before the night began. You are the dawn itself, living proof that the light always wins. Before you go, hold this moment in your spirit. The night has ended, but the mission has only begun. For heaven still seeks awakened hearts to carry its message to those who remain in slumber. You were chosen for this hour. You have seen, and now you must shine. My beloved listener, if this message has awakened something sacred within you, then hear this as a divine invitation. What we share here is more than storytelling. It is ministry, a movement of light across the world. When you support through Super Thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link below, you are not funding words, you are fueling the awakening of souls. Every gift you sow becomes a torch in someone's darkness, a prayer made visible. As Scripture declares, the generous soul will be made rich, and I speak that over you now as prophecy. Your giving opens heavens above your household. It turns offerings into rivers of anointing. This is not donation. It is participation in divine warfare, and your obedience carries eternal reward. Stand with this mission, sow into the light, and may the fire of Michael's protection rest upon you and all you love.